Hi, this is Katie, and thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. And today I wanted to talk about our sense of creativity. And I think a lot of people, and even especially like my parents, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, will consider creativity and artistry to strictly be drawing or painting or musician, or something that we observe as like, we really appreciate them putting that kind of art out into the world. And art especially is something that you can look at that creation, or a book, that you can look at that creation and reflect upon it. You can consume it if it's a book or music, and it can uplift your life. And I say that because my mom definitely was like, that's what creativity is. And I'm not creative in any sort of way. And I mean, I did go to art school and I did, I went for photography and then went into drawing and video and audio and all those kind of things. But I told her, like, wait, but you create a garden with like planting certain plants near each other with what colors they are. She had like a total area that was an all white flower garden. And that's what she enjoys doing all the time. She's like, oh, I just enjoy it. And it's like, no, you're painting a landscape with flowers, with actual gardening. There's structure here. There's repeating patterns here. There's a lot going on here. And I think we can also apply creativity to almost anything someone creates. So when someone is creating something, they're taking what they have around them and forming it into something new and possibly delivering it to someone else. And so in this way, you could be coding an app. You could be creating spreadsheets that you're delivering to someone else. And in that way that it's organized and structured and has this really easy way to look down and see all the information at a glance. I mean, that's design. That is intention, but there's also like a use case for it, that someone is using it and it's making their life easier. It could be applied to architecture. And I think this one is a little bit easier to relate because we see structures as kind of like sculptures. But there's also so many factors that go into great architecture that allow for accessibility, that allow for environmental factors. And so there's all of these unseen rules. there's definitely written rules. All these rules that they're following, but they're still creating this extraordinary design. And even the people helping out on that project are creating the cement that goes into it, creating the glass that goes into it, creating fixtures that go into that space and how they work. Even to the law, like if you're working as a lawyer, how you gather the information that you need to defend or prosecute is very creative, and you're having to kind of dig through and make connections in your brain that you can then convey and speak to others about. I mean, there's a whole thing about being able to deliver your message in an impactful way. Not only in that setting, but in politics, in theater, and the list goes on and on. So I just find this fascinating that so much of us are creators. Even if we're following a template that someone else is providing, we are creating. We're putting this stuff out into the world. And even if your day job is one thing, there usually is something else in your life that you enjoy, that maybe you're tracking books and you're sharing those ideas with others. Maybe you're playing video games and getting groups together to like tackle a mission together. And when you're playing together, you could be getting your own ideas about a game down the road. So because we all create, because we cook dinner at night, because we, help support each other like animals and friends and family. And in that support, we're creating an atmosphere that feels supportive to them. In all of these ways, how do we get inspired? Where is that creativity coming from? What fuels how we create every day? And it's actually right there. It's cyclical. It is, I could be a painter and I could be really influenced by the music that I'm hearing in order to paint. I could be a podcaster who is heavily influenced by the book I just read that I'm consuming and going, you know what? I want to keep sharing these ideas, but I also want to have my own take on things. Is it watching documentaries? Is it talking to other people? Is it visiting museums, having experiences, just sitting down and talking with your neighbors about what is happening in your own neighborhood and you getting inspired to be in politics, even if that's just showing up at a local town hall meeting and voicing concerns, saying, I'm seeing this problem and I know other neighbors are seeing this problem. How can we create policies in our area that can really make progress on justice in our area? Can we, as creators, consume different things than we normally are comfortable with? Can we go outside of our comfort zone and travel or try a new type of food or music or thing that we had never experienced before? And can that support our new creativity? Or combining different things. What I love to see, and I would do a lot of as well. I love it when people are consuming or listening. I guess consuming is one way to talk about it, but it's also listening, appreciating, intaking. When I am listening to a podcast that's totally outside of my industry. So a lot of times as a web designer, I would listen to all these tech podcasts, and a lot of that coding stuff and a lot of those concepts didn't really apply to what I was doing directly. But when they talked about user experience, when they talked about really more abstract concepts of design and how does that interact with humanity, I could then interpret it in my own way and bring it to my clients and say, well, in the industry, this is a trending thing. And so we might want to keep our eyes open for this to see how you could apply that for yourself. It's taking information from a totally separate industry, interpreting it. You need to kind of integrate it, process it, think about it, and then how does that transfer from you out into the world? Kind of like a remix, I guess. But I could be really inspired by a recipe because of the colors of the ingredients. And then I take those colors and I then apply them towards a web design at the time. Or how do I take concepts from a financial industry, listen to them from a podcast or something, really mull it over, and how then can I deliver that to my clients to really help and support them? So I find this fascinating. How are you creating? What are you creating? It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It could actually be support. It could be words of encouragement, podcasts, something to actually just listen to. What is it that you are creating? Because I'm pretty sure if you're not sure, if you can't find something, that if we had a little talk, I think we could pinpoint something. So thanks for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. podcast.